Happy Sunday. Honor has become so exceptional that when a person does an honorable thing, it becomes newsworthy. Ezra Taft Benson said that. We've spoken of civility and how it's connected to integrity. And civility and integrity, I think, are both connected to a presence of honor. So, what is honor? Well, the dictionary definition didn't do a lot for me. And I honestly should have gotten myself a glass of water before I try to read this whole thing, but we're going to go for it. So here's the dictionary definition. Honor is the idea of a bond between an individual and a society as a quality of a person that is both of social teaching and of personal ethos, that manifests itself as a code of conduct and has various elements such as valor, chivalry, honesty, and compassion. Well, I guess that's accurate. Um, it's a mouthful. So I found a really simple one that kind of rang true for me. So there's a really simple definition. Honor is reputation. But maybe that one's a little too simple. We're going to dog ear that one though. So another kind of, mama bear, papa bear, baby bear thing here, what I found was kind of in the middle, says, honor is the value of a person in their own eyes, but also in the eyes of their society. It is their estimation of their own worth, their claim to pride, but it is also the acknowledgement of that claim, their excellence recognized by society, their right to pride. So now there's an interesting thought. The right to pride, and honor is the right to pride. Of course, pride is one of the seven deadly sins, but I think that's notable that pride has a few different meanings and versions, right? It stands for a few different words we've translated down from antiquity. So the pride of the seven deadly sins is like that haughty self-righteousness kind of pride. The pride we're talking about in relation to honor is like the pride of self-respect. Self-respect is sustained by an inner reservoir, while pride seeks only external gratification, right? Maybe I should repeat that actually. I think that's a really good. Self-respect is sustained by an inner reservoir, while pride seeks only external gratification. I'm full of quotes this morning, so here's another. In its deepest manifestation, self-respect is the recognition that we are the children of God and valued by Him. We are children of God. Self-respect, taking pride in ourselves, is our way of shining God's light into the world, of saying, look at the beauty God has made. Are reputation and self-respect mutually exclusive concepts then? And of course they're not. So reputation being the external gratification, and we said self-respect is this inner reservoir, are those mutually exclusive? And they aren't. And I think that's kind of where honor meets, from that the baby bear quote earlier that was just right. Honor is the value of a person in their own eyes, but also in the eyes of their society. Honor is also, to me, the meeting of civility and integrity, because we've just discussed that, right? That self-respect, interior, being integrated, and being civil, being worthy of reputation, a good reputation. Where those two meet, we find honor. When you act uncivilly, you also lose integrity. We talked about that last week. And the loss of integrity is, by definition, a loss of self-respect, because it's a splitting of yourself away from yourself. And incivility distances you from your fellow man, so you lose that respect in the eyes of society. So respect and self-respect and reputation, that's civility and integrity meeting. In the Doctrine and Covenants, Joseph Smith writes of one trial, the devil rebelled against me, saying, give me thine honor, which is my power. To take away our power, then, is the power, our honor, then, is the power of the devil. How do we stand with honor if we are to stand against that power? How do we not only respect ourselves, but garner that respect from those around us too? Starting with ourselves seems to be the key from what I've seen. Integrity is at the heart of honor. When we recognize who we are and what values we not only hold, but aspire to, I think that's an interesting point. Not just the values we hold, but the change we want to see in the world. When we be the change, we send a message to others, if even unintentionally, that we are genuine, that our actions and intentions are true. That doesn't mean we can't compromise. It doesn't mean being like, oh, my way or the highway. It doesn't mean we can't compromise and work together with someone else. Again, kind of see last week for that bit about integrity. It's really the opposite. It means that we're the kind of person who people can turn to and work with without fear of petty reprisal or backstabbing or anything like that, because we're true. We're true to ourselves, and our intentions and our actions are clear. When we act on our principles and have integrity, we naturally exude confidence. We can't hide our light under a bushel because it is who we are. Our authentic self is on display, and so it just naturally shines forth. That means that we had better be grounded in principles and values that we truly hold to be laudable. There are many, many people throughout history who have been infamous. They've held to values that were dishonorable and duplicitous. Now, they held to them very firmly, but that's not honor, right? That's fame. Infamy, but fame. That's not honor. We can't just be recognized by society for being true to ourselves then with no direction. That's narcissism. That's infamy. We have to be recognized for being true to ourselves as children of God. And that's a much higher task. I don't think that means we have to only act on the values and interpretations of those values that are put forth by modern fundamentalist Christianity or whichever group, because so often that's not true to our own values. If you have a non-monogamous or non-heteronormative orientation, you're a minority, maybe you're neurodivergent in some way, you might find yourself at odds with white fundamentalist Christian values, for example, since I'm in America and that's the kind of values we can find ourselves at odds with. And that's okay to find yourself at odds with that, to be true to yourself first in that situation. It's about being true to values that you see as the values of a child of God, that light that God gave you. And being true to yourself first, that requires, as a child of God, that requires being resilient. And it might even seem to be counterproductive to honor in some ways. In Luke 4, of course, Christ says, I tell you the truth, no prophet is accepted in his hometown. Having integrity, having that self-integrated, might lose you honor in the eyes of some people. Coming out day was just this past week, and I'm quite certain people who go through that coming out process are subjected to a severe loss of honor in the eyes of friends and family. But you can't truly act with purpose unless you're acting with a purpose you were made for. If you are God's child, if you are made from the hand of God, and you are, I say if, but you are, then God put you here for a reason. He didn't just put a playing piece on the field in your position. He didn't just take another pawn out of this box and stick it on there. He put you here. Your unique you. That you that you really are. God made that for a purpose. So be true to who you are and honor God's creation. When you live your purpose, you're ultimately living for a cause greater than yourself. And that is in itself the stuff that honor is made of. If honor is partly lined with reputation, then honor survives long after the fleeting moments of our lives where we might deal with rejection and suppression. So I'm thinking of like Galileo. Galileo could have given in to societal calls to abandon his nonsense astronomical theories. But then his reputation would have faded into absolute oblivion. Now he's one of the most honored figures in the history of not just astronomy, but kind of science in general. I mean, Newton's a little above him, Einstein, but he's way up there. Galileo's reputation lives on and brings great honor to what he thought and taught. So why would Galileo stick to his knowledge in the face of shame? And why did Christ? Why maintain integrity when it looks like you're losing face in front of your people? Because they accepted, those people, Christ, Galileo, they accepted the responsibility of their roles in human history. With great responsibility always comes shame and reprisal. That's part of life. It's how you handle that responsibility that can turn that shame and fear into honor. Treat people honorably, the rest will come. When you have integrity in yourself, you're best poised to act on the golden rule. It's easy to not give a straight answer, to stretch out the truth, to not have that integrity, to lie about who you are, to subvert yourself, to have an easy path. But acting honorably means treating people with the same integrity and respect as you would treat yourself. If you're honest with yourself about who you are, then you leave room for others to offer the same honesty in return. You treat them as you treat yourself. So if you can be honest with yourself, you allow room for the other person to be honest with you. When you treat others with the same integrity and respect you treat yourself, you stand up for what you believe in without tearing others down or letting them walk all over you. You put truth before your own comfort and kindness before self-satisfaction. You admit that you're not infallible, and you accept responsibility, and you expect honesty and integrity in return. It's setting boundaries and showing compassion at the same time. You are exactly as valuable as anybody else in this world. You are exactly as valuable as anybody else in this world. If somebody treats you as less than, the answer is not to stoop to their level, but to stop them from bringing other people down too. And that's where honor turns the tide. Christ, Galileo, anyone you can think of with honor. I'm certain there are people who lift it up and not tore down. Honor is having presence of self enough to grant others their presence of self too, and then help each other to get up. God bless. Have a wonderful week. Take care.